So you've had a great conversation with an employer or a recruiter, and they've said they'll get back to you, and now radio silence. How many times should you reach out, and what the heck else should you do? Hey everyone, it's Emily, the Career Catalyst here, and this week we are talking about being ghosted by employers and what the heck you can do about it. So I'm afraid this happens a little more frequently than we might hope, and it really stinks to be on the receiving end of. But there are some things that you can do if you're not getting any responses from someone after a really great conversation like that. So I really, first of all, want to acknowledge how uncomfortable this situation can be. So don't feel like you're necessarily doing anything wrong. And then, try to give yourself a little bit of a pep talk afterwards. If you've been told by an employer or a recruiter that you'll hear back from them in a week, first of all, understand that they always get their timelines wrong. I don't know what the heck it is. They always say in a week or whatever. They give you a specific date, and then it just never quite works out that way. Life gets in the way, right? And especially now. And so, maybe someone at the office got sick. Maybe someone left in a hurry and they had to fill the position. Maybe there was a bit of a restructuring. All kinds of things can happen that don't have anything to do with you or the position that you applied for. The other thing is that sometimes they're just slow with this process. So don't freak yourself out too much. So if they said they'll reach out to you in about a week, give it about a week and a half. And then what you'll want to do is reach out to the original person with whom you were in contact, if it's HR or a recruiter, whoever it is. I prefer email because then I have just this nice clean record that reminds me that I did, in fact, do this outreach when I thought I did. And I would say if you can keep a record of it somewhere, just have maybe a spreadsheet or something where you record things like your re-outreach efforts. So you're going to reach back out and just say real simply and enthusiastically, hey, I had this conversation with you about this position, or I interviewed for this position, whatever it is, on whatever date. And I'm really excited about this position, and I'm just wondering where you are in the process. Then here's the hard part. You're going to step away from it for 3 or 4 days, business days. If you haven't heard anything by then, I recommend a phone call. That can be to that original person you had contact with. It can be to the general HR, whatever it is. If it's to someone that you haven't had any contact with yet, just real quickly introduce yourself, tell them the position you're interested in or that you interviewed for, and ask them about the timeline again, and just restate your enthusiasm. Then it's going to be super, super hard, because after that, you're going to want to wait about a week. And so you'll probably have to do some things to distract yourself. And that might be as simple as looking online to find other jobs to apply for, or maybe doing some networking with people in your chosen industry. Whatever it is, be sure to try to distract yourself. And then you can do a third outreach. I would do another email. Or you can do a phone call, whichever makes more sense to you. But I would say in this case, then we get to sort of escalate it. So you can take that next contact to whoever is going to be making a hiring decision for this role, if you have that information. So the head of the department or the hiring manager, whatever you can kind of figure out for who's going to be the decision maker. And then what you'll want to do is introduce yourself, talk about the position that you're interested in or that you've already applied for, maybe even interviewed for, restate your enthusiasm. Again, I know this feels kind of ridiculous, but you do want to keep restating that. And then just ask them again where they are in the hiring process. And that's going to be kind of your last outreach to them. It's really unpleasant, and I hate that I have to say this, but after that, you're going to want to try to walk away a little bit. If they don't respond to that third outreach, we just assume that they've moved on. Maybe the position got done away with. Maybe they've hired an internal candidate, whatever, right? Something has happened, probably. That means that they are not interested in speaking to you again. And it's not on you. Don't beat yourself up. This doesn't mean that you've somehow failed. It means that just something has happened and we don't know what. Probably about 10 years ago, for instance, I applied for a career counseling position at the University of Hawaii. I wasn't entirely sure I wanted the position, although it sounded really appealing for a lot of different reasons. But really, I applied because I was hoping they would fly me out there for an interview. And actually, it was pretty interesting. I did a really thorough job matching the keywords. I was really enthusiastic in my application process. And then at one point, I finally heard back from them, and they said that they were really sorry, but there had been a financial restructuring of the university, and they were no longer able to hire for the position. So stuff like that also happens. try not to freak out too much and try not to beat yourself up if these things keep happening to you. It's just kind of a goofy state of affairs right now. And, it can be a really frustrating, it's a real frustrating process at the best of times. And I think it's even more so now. So be really kind and gentle to yourself. If this has happened to you a few times, or you're kind of getting super frustrated with the process, then you're going to want to probably seek some help. So there are workforce centers in all of the major cities in the US. And even if you're not in a major city, you can access a workforce center, the one that's closest to you. There are also a lot of career counseling options that states are providing for free because the unemployment benefits are ending. So you have options for figuring out how to sort of refresh your career search process. And if that doesn't work, or if you have some income that you want to spend on a career counselor, I can answer any questions you have kind of going through that process. What you're looking for in a career counselor is someone that you really feel like you can connect with, that you can trust with your information, someone who's going to maybe push you a little bit so you don't kind of linger in that space of feeling overly comfortable. So I know it sucks, and I know it's a really hard and frustrating and crazy making process. Again, it's probably not on you, but if you think there is something that you can do to improve your odds of getting a job, let me know and we can talk it through. So if you like this video, please hit subscribe, give it a like, and I will be recording more. I'm also always happy to take requests for content that you would like to see in the video. So have a wonderful long weekend. Let me know what questions you all have, and take care. I'll see you here next week.